Hello everybody, good morning. It is all the sounds. It is Thursday and all the sounds. I've been thinking a lot about movement, literal movement of my body, but also movement in and out of spaces, movement in and out of time, and movement through different sensations and emotions. That's what I've been looking at or feeling into. And as always, this is just the theme, is that everything seems to be related. Or as my friend recently said, damn synchronicity. So everything is about traveling. And like I said, it's traveling through different aspects of self, traveling into different parts of the human experience, be it of the physical or mental, spiritual, emotional realms. Even just leaving the house. And what I read today speaks to this. What does it mean to depart? How do we do this? And then it gets me thinking about something I do every day. I leave my house every day. That I just kind of do it without realizing the not just the impact it has. It might sound out there to you, but there is impact when things are moved. That includes bodies in space, and so to acknowledge the impact my body has through time and space, and the interactions I have with other people. They're meaningful. They mean something. I always attribute this one phrase to Maya Angelou, and I'm not even sure if she's the one that I heard say it. It was years ago in an interview. Somebody asked, how do you create peace in the world? And this person, who I believe was Maya Angelou, said, you smile. So this idea that one's smile to another person can change their life that day. So this leaving of a house it can be quite impactful based on the interactions we have with others. Anyway, I'm going to read a few things that speak to this. One is something a friend of mine sent that I read this morning. Thank you, Shane. He sent me this. It's by Viola, who has passed on. The unfolding of consciousness, the revelation of beauty, present even after death, the moment of awe, the space without words, the emptiness that builds mountains, the joy of loving, the sorrow of loss, the gift of leaving something behind for the next traveler. Viola. That's number one. Number two is, of course, of course it's going to be David Wayte. This may seem seemingly unrelated, but to me it's not, in that I didn't realize I was moving through an emotion. I knew that there was some kind of, there was something going on within. I was categorizing it as certain emotions that I was moving through. But I actually didn't acknowledge that one of the things that I was also experiencing was denial. And so I'm going to read what he says about denial. This is from Consolations, the Solace, Nourishment, and Underlining Meaning of Everyday Words, David Wayte. Denial. Denial is deeply underestimated as a state of being. Denial is an ever-present and even splendid thing when seen in the light of its merciful and elemental powers to cradle and hold an identity until it is ready to move on. Faced with the depth of loss and disappearance in the everyday life, in the average life, a measure of denial is creative, necessary, and self-compassionate. Children are not meant to know they are one day to die, and older adults are not meant to tell them. Refusing to face what we are not yet ripe and ready to face can help us to live through the more than enough difficulties of the present. Denial fully experienced also enables us to understand the full measure of our reluctance to be here, thus becoming a pathway to self-knowledge, a way of both paying attention to and appreciating what is asking to be seen. Denial is a beautiful transitional state every human being inhabits before they are emancipated into the next, larger context and orphaned, often against their will, from their old and very familiar home. Denial is ever present and unavoidable in a human life. Even in the most accomplished guru, even in the Dalai Lama, it is a necessary dynamic, so that the overpowering elements of a waiting, terrifying universe can be held for now, over the horizon. Denial belongs to us all and should not be given away lightly. Denial can be a prison if inhabited in too concrete and unmoving a way, but denial is also a necessary stepping stone and a compassionate foundation for viewing those unable to take the next courageous step. Denial can be a beautiful skin shed, left to be seen, or even to beautify, and beautify others as they follow, wearing our former clothes. To understand the true nature of our reluctance through observing and then inhabiting our denial is to see directly into the soul's wish to participate. All of us live with temporary names and temporary stories which allow us to breathe the air of the present while looking into the eyes of enormous powers that make up our immediate horizon of understanding. Denial comes to a natural end through the force of attention and intentionality to this horizon. Much better to pay attention to what beckons than to try to look at what, by definition, we are not ready to look at. To live in denial is to be in very good company. Denial is the crossroads between perception and readiness. To deny denial is to invite powers into our lives we have not yet readied ourselves to meet. To deny denial is to invite powers into our lives we have not yet readied ourselves to meet. I really love this. There's this sort of, and I feel it in myself as I had this thought yesterday when I read this, it's in acceptance of what is happening within that I can move on. But to deny denial, I think that's what I was doing. I was like, it's good. I'm fine. There's so much, there's so much unfolding in my life right now. It's very, I'm looking to many things. I'm very creative right now, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a variety of emotions that swell and move within that are asking to be heard or held or seen. And in so holding and hearing and seeing them, they're able to move through, and I'm able to go into the next moment with greater grace. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to end with this. John O'Donohue, Benedictus. This is completely aligned. It is For the Traveler. Okay. John O'Donohue. Oh, I love these writers right now. Okay, For the Traveler. Every time you leave home, another road takes you into a world you were never in. New strangers on other paths await. New places that have never seen you will startle a little at your entry. Old places that know you well will pretend nothing changed since your last visit. When you travel, you find yourself alone in a different way, more attentive now to the self you bring along. Your more subtle eye watching you abroad, and how what meets you touches that part of the heart that lies low at home. How you unexpectedly attune to the timbre in some voice, opening a conversation you want to take in, to where your longing has pressed hard enough inward on some unsaid dark to create a crystal of insight. You could not have known you needed to illuminate your way. When you travel, a new silence goes with you, and if you listen, you will hear what your heart would love to say. A journey can become a sacred thing. Make sure before you go to take the time to bless your going forth, to free your heart of ballast, so that the compass of your soul might direct you towards the territories of spirit, where you will discover more of your hidden life and the urgencies that deserve to claim you. May you travel in an awakened way, gathered wisely into your inner ground, that you may not waste the invitations which wait along the way to transform you. May you travel safely, arrive refreshed, and live your time away to its fullest. Return home more enriched and free to balance the gift of days which call you. Have a beautiful day.